This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're trying something a little off meta with Rakdos control. Mostly built around this card, Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. The idea being to deny your opponent's resources with hand manipulation in the form of Davriel, Rogue, Shadow Mage, Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger, and Agonizing Remorse, and possibly some help from Carnage. This deck, once it hits the hand pretty well and takes away their best resources, then tries to close the game with Davriel's Burnout, Kroxa's Burn. The adventure creatures can be cast as creatures. This can be a burn spell to the face. And we've got some big mythic boys in Doom Whisperer and Skargan Hellkite. I did try Planeswalkers, playing an even longer, grindier value game. Liliana and Chandra, the 6-mana Chandra, were the two I tried. And in the end, I just wanted to end the game faster, because the longer we gave our opponent to draw out of the awkwardness we create for them by making them discard key pieces of their hand, the more likely we were to die. This deck was originally passed to me on Subscriber Tuesday, which I'm recording here today. It is a Tuesday on my Twitch channel from 4 to 6, 7, sometimes we go later, Eastern time. I play decks that my viewers come up with. So they show up, they put links in the chat, I pick the links that I like, and we play some decks. And this was one sent by one of my viewers originally. I've definitely switched a few cards around to fit my liking, but I thought it was a pretty new take on how to attack a mono red and blue white meta. Nearly every card in the deck is useful against one or both of those decks. Obviously the adventure cards mean you don't have many dead cards. Carnival Carnage is like an adventure card in that you can just pick off Fervent Champion, or you can make them discard. Storm's Wrath hits Planeswalkers, and it also hits creatures. So it's good against red, but it's also good against a board that has Narset into Fairy on it, maybe an Elspeth. Agonizing Remorse is probably one of the key cards. You have to be able to exile things. Exiling a Euro from the graveyard, or even better from the hand before it gets cast, is really huge against Simic, so hopefully we get to do that. And our escape card is Kroxa, so we use our graveyard to just fuel out the Titan of Death's Hunger as much as necessary. Mire Triton's an interesting glue card. It puts 2 cards from our library into our graveyard, which can help get some Kroxa fuel in a deck that otherwise doesn't have a lot of ways to fuel the Titan, but it also gains 2 life. And the 2 on Death Touch Body is something that they don't want to block with, say, a wall token from Birth of Meletus, so even against blue-white, it gets some damage in. So this is a pretty interesting deck. It doesn't have the raw power level or synergy level of the other decks in the format, but with a good hand and with some good breaks, maybe we can do some damage. In the mana base, I have 3 Fabled Passage and 3 Temple of Malice. Fabled Passage is mostly there. Obviously, fixing your mana a little bit is nice, but I have 4 Murderous Riders. When they die, they go to the bottom. I want to shuffle them back in. I need a density of Murderous Riders to keep removing our opponent's best threats over and over. So shuffling them again with Passage is a pretty nice little tactic, since the games usually go longer. Doom Whisperer can help you find them as well. Doom Whisperer can also fill the graveyard for Kroxa, which is kind of a nice synergy if you have the life total to support it. And I have 4 Castle Locthwains, because this deck tends to empty its hand very quickly, and you're up against decks that top deck things like Hydroid Krasis, Gadwick the Wizened, like cards that just refill your hand brutally. So we have to be able to start drawing cards and regroup right away. Alright, that is my intro to this Rakdos control deck. If blue-black is pain and agony, what is this? Pain and more pain? Pain and anger, maybe? But yeah, let's dive in. Let the pain and the anger begin. Here under all play modes, I'm going to do a standard event. I think it's a good tell. If there's always kind of the hidden quest of going 7-0 with a deck like this to prove that it might have some legs. Obviously, it would be a lot better to go from platinum to diamond, but that would take about 2 days of recording probably. Don't have that kind of time when I have to be on a new deck tomorrow. So standard event it is. There are so many good reasons for standard event. The rewards are good. The competition is usually varied, although tends to lean on the aggro side. No. No way. Oh my god. With stakes on the line? Oh yeah, baby. We're doing this. Hopefully he's recording too and I can slap him around as usual. Merchy boy, the nemesis. This just got super real. So what are you playing, Merchy? Blue-white control? Maybe? Alright. If he's on blue-white, this is going to be just hilarious. Kraken. Nadir Kraken, which I don't have a good answer to right away. I don't have a good answer to Fairy either. We're going to get 2 of these, so I'm sure that one should hit Teferi and one should hit the Kraken. As far as the order, I think I'll just pick off Teferi first. The birth, the Melitas. Nice to know that sometimes us content creators create content around the same time. By the way, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. Don't need that donation and alert stuff here today. By the way, Merchy Boy, showing off those new fancy lands. So I don't want that Kraken to come down. Let's just get it out of the hand. Because without a quick answer, it can be a problem. But then we have a Narset. Which one is more of a problem? Narset keeps me from drawing cards. It's a pretty good draw in this spot. I'm kind of curious to see the Kraken run away with a game or not. Alright, Narset it is. The wall came down. The Kraken joins the battlefield. I should have a lot of ways to kill it. I just have to draw one. Oh boy. Oh boy. Too many lands. So there's still this time wipe, which can pick this up and get rid of the Doom Whisperer, but Doom Whisperer can then find me an answer to the Kraken, so that's not too bad. The thing I don't want to do, I don't think I want to run out of Davriel just to die. We could play this 4-3. It does take away the ability to draw Carnival Carnage, but yeah, I think that's the play. I am giant. So we're going to walk into a time wipe a little bit, but then hopefully Doom Whisperer and Davriel can recover me well. Stand up on my shoulders, tell me what you need. Is this just going to end up being blue-white control with some Krakens in it? Because Dream Trawler isn't, you know, is just kind of good. Alright, we drew it. We could wrap the board ourselves now. I guess that's not too bad. Bloxies, huh? Bloxy boy. Wow. Now we'll see if we can get him to discard the time wipe before we Doom Whisper. That would be pretty lucky, but there are 3 unknowns. Which of them is Dream Trawler? That's the real question. Jeez. My discard deck is looking kind of poopy. Not gonna lie. Now what? If I kill this in any time wipes, that's just so bad. Alright, I'm gonna pick on his hand. Put those 2 cards back. Hey, the time wipe goes. There must be another. I don't think he'd discard a time wipe with a Gadwick on the board. Would Merchy boy? I don't know about that. I don't buy it. Not for a minute. Says go. How am I... So what I have to do is I have to play Doom Whisperer and I have to find an Agonizing Remorse. So that when the time wipe goes off, I can take the Gadwick away. I guess that's the play. Mr. Tickles. Oh, are you Mr. Counterspells now, Merchy? Is that what this is? See, this is important. I have exposed him. I have exposed him. He plays counter spells in his spare time. Everybody's going to see this. Try hard. Everybody's going to see this. Oh, but it's a nice janky brew because of Divine Visitation, right? I don't think so. All right, so that last card might make some angels, which we can't really afford to happen. So we could Davriel this, then he attacks the Davriel, which I still want to defend the Davriel if I can. I think Carnage here is just fine. Yep, it was another time wipe. What do you do with tokens? We've got Nadir, we've got Birth, and we probably have the land. So what? He's just on like the jankiest pot. Like he took blue-white control. He added some freshly jankified cards, so that he could say he wasn't running, you know, that toxic blue-white tryhard control. No, Merchant wouldn't do that. I don't know. I see board wipes. I see sweepers. I see card draw. That's rude. That's rude. We're gonna need another Storm's Wrath, I guess. Are you thinking about attacking? Yeah, there you go. Fire Triton. You don't do it. Alright, I guess I have to make a 5/5. We need to draw another Storm's Wrath, like this turn. Ha! 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite dead. You know, I'm gonna have to retire this if it loses to Merchant. I'm going to have to absolutely retire this deck. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. Ah! Man, where were you? Mr. Top Decks himself. He's slow rolling a land. Great. I'll show him.
Dealing with you, let's tidy up.
That'll teach him a lesson.
All I've left you is pain.
Merchant playing blue-white doesn't want any of you to know. That's right. That's right. Merchant, go blue. We uncovered it. Vitixman. Vitwisman, or I don't know. But anyway, we have a turn 1 castle, then we can Agonizing Remorse them. Storm's Wrath, the cards they play. We'll need another swamp to be really effective, though. I think we'll find it. By the way, new board. About frickin' time we got this in constructed. Thought this was never gonna happen. My Triton! I almost got to play the card. You took it from me. So rude. Alright, so there's a Shifting Ceratops, a Gruul Spellbreaker, two Domri's Ambush. If I leave them with the Ceratops, I can hit it next turn, so yeah, we'll just get rid of that. We'll get rid of the Spellbreaker and plan to take the Ceratops next turn, and hope to find a way to deal with this Robber. 2 reactive cards that we can play around, that's nice to see. The opponent hits another Storm's Wrath. They do get to play my Mire Triton, scumbag. How dare you touch my cards. Gotta hit him up with a little emo love. Bonecrusher Giant. This card is such a pain. I kind of want the opponent to play the Ceratops. I have a lot of answers to it, but this card is a real pain. Wow. All 3 Storm's Wraths before a swamp. Nice. Boom. So we're at 10. Our mana is certainly handicapped, and our opponent gets the Ceratops. Do I finally draw that Black Source? Of course not. Why would I? Silly thought. I will never draw that Black Source. I've got one more shot at it. One more shot. Hoi! Did it. So if they have a third ambush or draw one, we're in trouble. I think we say go and Murderous Rider this. The problem with that is we lose to a Gruul Spellbreaker or some other haste threat. So what do you think? What do you think, everybody? I think that the next spell, so the second Gruul Spellbreaker is, or Bone Crusher Giant is more likely than the third Ambush. So let's tickle up. Yep, if they had a Collision Colossus, I guess that sucks. It is, of course. I think I made the right play, and I think it didn't matter. Well, you know what I mean. I could have used a rider, but oh well. Alright, can we pick up a freaking win? We're at risk of going 1-3 with this pile, which is something I have a lot of pride that I rarely do. I do not like the losing. Our opponent kept a 6. They're having a freaking... Their brain is exploding over turn 1 here. And eventually, Forest is the choice. By the way, we're back on the other board. Why didn't we get to keep the cool board? Turn 2 Paradise Druid, play of champions, that's for sure. This card on turn 2 is pretty nice. How about Questing Beast? Proxa, huh? Well, first things first. Get out of here with that. I can discard a land here. I'll end up taking 3, but that's fine. And we got to pick off that little guy. Okay, we'll get that down now since our opponent shows that they like some discard effect. They might be on food. I've seen some food decks running Kroxa. Your go. What do you suppose is holding priority with 2 green? Not sure. What would do that? On an empty board, an instant with no targets. I don't know. Let's thin the deck a little bit. And I'm just gonna Carnage the face here. Maybe they're just playing full control. Full control mode spam. They only have 2 cards, so... Well, they're going down to 1 card here. That's pretty good. And they don't have any red mana to bring this back yet. Return to Nature. That is a card that would hold priority because they exile a card from a graveyard. Oh, and that's game. They didn't like the discardy effects. We're rallying. We're on a 2-2. I want that 4-2 badly. The stakes are intense. So if I draw a land, this hand is pretty good. Let's keep it. And we're back on the new board. The board that all the drafters get, typically. Is there some lightning? Oh, I saw some lightning. I want Easter eggs like on the Bolus board. I guess they just got too lazy to program those. Or they weren't making enough money. I don't know. Black-white burglar rat, huh? Let's get another swamp. Let's drop off one of these Kroxas. They have effects from the yard, which is nice. And let's go make sure our opponent doesn't get to cast a Doom Foretold on me anytime soon. So we're looking at a 2-lander with Davriel, Bellhaunt, Kaisrath, Cavalier of Dawn. I think we can make our opponent discard these other more expensive cards over time. Let's take the Davriel for now. We're having a discard fight, everybody. It's a war of the discard decks. They drew their land number 3 like they're supposed to. Alright, let's Kroxa spam them. They're probably going to give up the Kaya's Wrath since they're not under a ton of pressure, but people are different. They make different choices. Doom Foretold's going to be a big pain in our butt. We're going to have to figure out how to deny resources to make Doom Foretold good. And do we just want to pick off this rat? I will if a Doom Foretold comes down, but otherwise I think hitting the hand is best. Yep, rats. My turn. Sweet. Let's get them. Drop 2 more in the yard, please. Nice. So the mystery card is what remains. Our graveyard is pretty juicy. Croxa is about to happen. Okay, a Basilica Bellhaunt. We can drop other Croxa since our opponent's empty-handed now. Murderous Rider can take out the Bellhaunt. We could just bring Croxa back here, but if we can catch a card in our opponent's hand, I think that's better. So we'll use Murderous Rider this turn. That's kind of a suck. I thought about holding my land for that, but decided I'd eventually need it anyway. But they won't have an answer to the Titan. They'll have to top deck it. Roar. Take 3. Let's scry. See what's hanging out. Fabled Passage. It does help fill the graveyard for the next Croxa. Next turn we can play Murderous Rider and activate the castle. It's not bad. It's a good turn. I don't know if I'd keep just any land, but one that helps fill the graveyard I think is a good keep. No, you didn't just draw it, did you? Okay, we're reading. Ah, it's a land. Good. Activate the castle, see what we draw. Bone Crusher Giant. Pretty good. Rat taking 1 for the team. I think I'll hold this up rather than play the Rider. I want to cast it this turn. Okay, they have another blocker. I think I take this damage and then Bone Crush this rat. Or whatever the blocker is, if it's small enough. Oh, interesting. They must have drawn a removal for Croxa then. In that case, we'll kill the rat. So now the adventure creatures will try to finish this thing. Ooh. Or this hasty dragon can. I still believe they're going to use a removal spell here on Croxa. Because otherwise, why would they hold something in their hand if Croxa were about to take it? And they chose to kill the dragon instead of the Croxa. Cool. I mean, the Croxa is a lot more damage. They're down to 1 now. And the trigger will kill them. Right? Didn't discard a non-land card in this way. Yep. Raw. Titan Flex. I was up against the ropes. I was at 1 and 2. Now I have a chance to avenge the land. And do it for my people. And get that gold back. Nikolshiro. Chandra Avatar, mono red, finally. And we have Triton and 2 fatties. I'll keep it. It might be a little tough. We don't have any removal. So, Agonizing Remorse probably has to come before Triton and hit their Runaway Steamkin or their Annex, hardened by the Forge, whatever. Double Remorse on the play. I think what I'm doing here doesn't affect the board enough, so I'm going to bottom it. And I need to draw land to cast these, so I don't think taking another turn to hit the hand is going to do it. Alright, that's not mono red. That Chandra Avatar was a lie. What the hell is this? Once in future, return up to card from your graveyard to your hand. Some interesting weird card advantage. Growth Spiral, probably what makes this deck tick. Time Wipe is going to be a problem. If we're the beatdown, then taking the Time Wipe seems right. But letting the opponent Growth Spiral and ramp up seems wrong too. I think we'll go for the Growth Spiral. It's the thing that, to me, pieces that hand together. And we're not usually a full-on beatdown deck. Now that Carnival Carnage is nice. 2 lands in the graveyard, but no Kroxa. This is some kind of a go deep control deck. They're gonna take us to the long game. Alright. Carnage. So the plan, I think, is going to be to get Doom Whisperer down. Well, whatever we get down is going to get Time Wiped. Maybe I play Hellkite, hit them hard, they tap out and Time Wipe. Onto Insight. They might have to draw the land to do it, but yeah. They Time Wipe the Hellkite and the Triton, then we play the Doom Whisperer, and then we fill our graveyard and we find and set up the one, the only, the great, the Kroxa. But we just drew a Davriel. Davriel could change things. Start with an attack and see if the opponent wants to respond. They have something they can play. Might be a Growth Spiral. I think the Davriel picking at their hand a bit, making them make choices before they know what these cards are, is a good move. They're looking in the graveyard. Is this an instant? Oh, it is an instant. Okay. So they put a land on top and a Heliod's Intervention in their hand. I don't know if that's really important. That's kind of an interesting choice to me. I guess they just knew they were going to discard it and wanted something to discard. I like that. That's a pretty neat play. Maybe this card I should be trying out more because I didn't even realize it was an instant. Keep hitting them. You gonna drop that Time Wipe now? Wow. Okay. It's a once and future deck. I'm sort of inspired. Alright, so there's just a Time Wipe left. If I wait another turn, they put a Bond of Insight on top of their deck, so that's what they're going to cast. It's going to put 2 cards in their hand. And it's going to mill my deck. That could be good. Let's just play Doom Whisperer and make them Time Wipe instead, and then we can hit the Bond of Insight with the Davriel. Plus we get to fill our graveyard. And then next turn we get to send Hellkite in, and they're very low on life. So we're looking for Kroxas. Yay, that didn't take long. Now what do we want to put on top? Some kind of way to deal direct, quick damage. Another Davriel is pretty sweet. In fact, these 2 cards are both pretty sweet, so I'll keep like this. Since next turn I'm going to play the Hellkite. If I bring this back, it knocks out the Bond. And the opponent takes 2 from Davriel, and then they die the next turn to the Hellkite, so that's even better. Witness the power of the Titan. Although I do like the look of the deck. It just seems to do too much nothing. But this once in future I think is worth looking at. I've played with Bond of Insight enough to know that the card does a lot of nothing. It's one of the more effective nothing cards in the format. Once in future being an instant, well, maybe some Bant control. Ooh. We did it. We came back from a 1-2 start, including loss to Merchant Go Blue. So let's roll on. Now we're playing with the house money. Can we get a few more sneaky wins and get out of here up on gold today to add to the pile? Add to the collection. Hopefully we're against mono red. This hand is alright. I don't know. I guess this hand is good against like mid-range too. Maybe even control. Maybe it's just a good hand. Maybe the deck just isn't trash. I'm not sure. What do you think? Light him up? Light him up. trade the 1/1 for the 1-drop. The Davriel will be our card advantage source. So we can try to get back in it, because as you see, the opponent has a really full grip here. Atomic. Darn it, that kills Davriel. Let's see if they trade for the Triton for some reason. Yeah, wow. They must have another. Or they didn't read the Death Touch. But now I get to Davriel on a clean board and start attacking this hand.
I don't think you'll be needing that.
Reverend Hoplite. Devotion to Wide. It's a legend. Legend brewed a deck like that I was a big fan of. Uh-oh. Not two creatures. Not two creatures. Dear God. So. I can't save Davriel anymore. This is going to kill it. We can use Murderous Rider on the Atomic or the Bone Crusher on the Alcid, which there might be something better coming from Murderous Rider. Let's use the discard effect first.
Let me pick your brain for a minute.
Then we can wait till the opponent attacks, but if I do that, I may not get the Bone Crusher back. So I want to kill this. But if the opponent has a mana open, they can sacrifice this, and then I don't get the Bone Crusher side. So I just have to do this now. I might have been able to save Davriel the other way, but with the opponent down to one card in hand, they might end up with an empty hand anyway. So saving Davriel isn't that important. Yep, there is our other target for Murderous Rider.
I believe in you, friend.
I believe in you, friend. What a cheeseball. I know, don't speak ill of the fallen and all. He's a soldier. Ooh. If my opponent doesn't draw a solution to the Doom Whisperer, I can attack down the Gideon. Or I can get the opponent to chump block for the Gideon, which would be even better. Let's go, Mr. Tickles. Let's do this thing. Don't draw a removal. That's not bad. It's going to be a +1/+1 counter somewhere. And Devotion is currently active, but we'll have that broken up by next turn. Okay. Like, what are you going to do? Indestructible. Alright. Rawr. Think we're good here? Alright, let's activate. Bone Crushies. So this turn, I'm probably going to attack the Gideon. The opponent probably will chump to save it. I'm actually not sure about that, but either way I'll be casting Murderous Rider. If I'm casting Murderous Rider this turn, then I can also be casting the Bone Crusher Giant, which may or may not be relevant. Or I could be developing my mana. I think I'll keep like this and just have the option of bone crushing something. There's going to, like, a Pride Mate is a good example of something I would want to bone crush as soon as it hit the battlefield. So will the opponent chump block here? Yes, they will.
Bring it on.
So I could just wait and possibly kill this next turn. All it can do to me this turn is give me 4 damage. So I don't even think I cast these. I think I wait and see what my opponent does. I can't Murderous Rider Gideon on his turn because it's indestructible. And I can't Bone Crush it either. Although Bone Crusher does have that damage can't be prevented. So I guess I could Bone Crush Gideon. But more likely I'm waiting to see what they draw off the top of their deck. And I'm going to kill that to make sure Heliod stays turned off. And the opponent scoops it up. They just can't beat Doom Whisperer, I guess. So we've got Remorse, Triton, Rider, a Scryland. It's fine. Not that exciting. Where's Croxa been? I feel like Croxa is on vacation the last few games. I mean, yeah. Opponent wants to be a chatty one. Mono red? Well, Davriel just got a lot worse. That's frustrating. When you keep a card because it's been so good for you and then it turns out the opponent's running mono red. Let's go ahead and Remorse their hand and try to take something good. They have Hardened in the Forge. They have Phoenix of Ash. All very good cards. Torbrand, very good card. They only have 2 land. I guess that's the Mr. Brightside here. Let's go ahead and take the Annex. It's the best card now in this deck. And let's hope they brick on land for a little bit. And then let's draw Storm's Wrath. Wow. Nice. Must be nice. We could play this 2/3 lifelinker. The opponent draws a land, they Embercleave us. That's pretty bad. Maybe we just pay the life and cast this side if they go for the Embercleave. Otherwise, they go for Phoenix of Ash. We can kill that. Alright. Feels bad, but I guess that's where we're at. Let's see what they do. Just don't draw a land for me one time. Oh, okay. They drew a land. And they played their Phoenix. Alright. So we swiftly end you. Take another 5. Alright, if they tap out to Embercleave here, it doesn't actually kill whatever. Oh, we have a Stomp. This is good. This is good. We're okay. At least for a second. It'll get worse. When our opponent plays the Torbrand, it'll get a lot worse. Just miss on land for me once. I don't know how this deck always has all the land it ever needs. Always. It can run 20 lands. I can run 30 lands and I can miss my 3rd land drop. Not this deck. Not mono red. Oh, here they come. This is good. Alright. So we want to take out... We want them to equip a Scorch Spitter. We want to block a Scorch Spitter. We want those off the board because of Torbrand. Here's Embercleave. Where does it go? Ooh, if they go to the Champion, that would be interesting. Alright. Stomp it. Now, next turn they can suit up the Fervent Champion even now if they want to, which is really frustrating. What do I need? Carnival Carnage? Ooh. And we hit. Alright, so we pass if our opponent doesn't hit the land and they try to enter combat, we Carnage this away and we Murderous Rider the champion. We could also just play this and trade it with the champion, which wouldn't be bad. The main thing is Torbrand, right? Then it can't block the champion. Alright. Yeah, they found it. We're gonna go down to 4, so we have to chump here. Then we potentially go to 1. How do they always have it? We could take these out, though. And then there's just a Torbrand left over, which could be equipped with an Embercleave. If we play a 2/3 against that... Okay. We could also just draw removal for the Torbrand, which would be the nuts. Down to 4. Land won't do. God, red decks are annoying. Alright, they bring out Birdo. And that is lethal. Yep. Definitely an option they had. Not much I could do about it. As long as they don't attack with the Torbrand, which the lifelink would keep me alive. Ah, that sucks. I wish I hadn't kept that Davriel. Keeping that Davriel in the dark, not knowing I was against mono red, is what probably cost me that game. But it was interesting. I don't have any regrets. I got 5 wins out of this deck. It's an interesting little off-meta thing. I did lose to Merchant. My pride is going to sting for many millennia to come. But I did expose him as the dirty blue-eye control mage he claims to hate. Alright, what are we looking at here? Any changes I would make? I really like Doom Whisperer. Hellkite was kind of meh. I think this deck is just fine against mono red if you draw reasonably. I think we drew unreasonably. They obviously top decked like that 3rd land when they needed it, and that 2nd Scorch Spitter. Like they filled their curve out so perfectly off the top of their deck that we were bound to lose that game. But there's not a lot of other things you can really do. I love the adventure creatures. I love Kroxa. I think this deck is pretty much the way it is, and it's always going to be this weird little off-meta choice that's going to struggle against the good decks. So I'm not surprised by how we ended up, and maybe next time we'll get a few more. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you as always for watching. Do check out Merchant's channel, although I'm sure you already do. He's probably the most popular player of the MTG Arena daily card games on the YouTube, so shouldn't surprise you that he has a channel. But do go say hello, tell him CGB says hi, and that I know his dirty blue-white control secret. And also, do check out CoolStuffInc.com, our sponsor, promo code CGB5. And also download Magic Mana Strike if you see an ad for it before or after this video. It helps the channel. It actually puts a fair chunk of change in my pocket, and these opportunities don't come up much. So it's a good opportunity to support the channel very easily. So thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.